get going. Who is that?
You gonna cut it out.
Okay, what am I doing? I am trying to call Adrian. Do you all need color copies of the rules? Commissioner Basham, Commissioner Kenlock, do you all need copies? Do you need color copies? Or do you have, Okay, okay. All right, very good. We have copies if you needed it.
Yes.
You can see the strikeouts. Oh. Did we have a delay? Oh, my.
Yeah.
He was downstairs banging on the door. Say, where is everybody? He said, "Where is everybody?" Okay, now we can go. All right. Okay, all right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Special Committee on Rules to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Kenlock,
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Here.
Commissioner Basham,
Here.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Here.
Chair Bell,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Thank you. So we have to get our technology together. So- Okay, all right. So hopefully we won't have that echo anymore. Commissioner Clemente, if you want to sit at the table, you can, or you can stay out there. It's up to you. Okay, very good. All right, next item, please.
Approval of the February 11, 2021 meeting minutes.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on the minutes from February 11, 2021? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? All right, next item.
Chair's remarks.
Okay, so every 2 years, we go through the process of reviewing our rules for the commission. We add some things, we delete things, we make it as current as the time dictates. So this year, we do have some changes that the council and I went through to pertain for how we operate for the next 2 years. My desire is to get this approved today so that we can have it for full board on tomorrow. That's all that I have.
Here.
Next item, please.
Old business, there is none listed. We are moving to new business. There is one item listed. Discussion on the Wayne County Commission proposed temporary rules of procedure for 23-24.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinlock.
Approval of the proposed rule.
Okay, well, before we have approval, if you don't mind, Commissioner, let's have our council go through some of the changes that has been indicated in these rules, okay? Commissioner Council?
Through the chair to this honorable body, as Chairwoman mentioned, every 2 years after the election, the rules are reviewed to set the rules for the next 2 years. This year, we've made a few changes, not a lot of changes to the rules. Overall, we have made some clarifications with regards to stuff like the OMA, voting board and things that just to get us in alignment with our current practices. I also made a few sort of technical type of corrections to the rules and some things that I noted that could be clarified, and I did that. So I will just briefly generally go through those. So if you turn to page 4, you will see that we made a few revisions on page 4, page 5, page 6, and page 7 with regards to the Open Meetings Act. The last time these rules were voted on, this body was still meeting in committees virtually. So these changes simply get us back into alignment. Though we've been operating according to the law, these rules are now more in accordance with the law because the last review rule said that certain things sunset.
Yeah.
We didn't actually physically change the document. Now we're physically changing the document as opposed to just saying that those things had sunset in March. We're changing the document. So this again is just changes that make us more in alignment with how we're operating in accordance with the law. Other changes, for example, if you turn to page 18, you will see that these changes starting on page 18 also get us more in alignment with how we operate. The chairwoman, and I don't know if you've noticed, had decided to try to get some of the agendas out earlier. So they've been going out on Monday as opposed to Tuesday. So all of these changes with regards to 48 hours are now changed to 72 hours because commissioners need to have their submissions for resolutions into the clerk prior to the agenda being distributed. And since the agenda is trying to go out earlier, we're just making that change in the rules to be consistent.
And I want to just reiterate that. I know a lot of times things could come up at the last minute, but to the best of our ability, if you have resolutions, if you have memoriams, I know you don't know about memoriams, but if you have resolutions or any item that you want on the agenda, get them to Pam by Friday so we can have the agenda sent out as soon as possible. Okay, thank you.
Some additional changes, just to give you an example of what has been changed to get us in alignment. If you turn to page 28, on page 28, you will notice that this is about our voting process and our voting board. You know that the commission recently and within the last few months started a new voting process, we have a new technology. So we're just changing the rules to reflect the new technology and the new process which we use currently. There are, again, a few other things that I modified, just like typos or just things, reorganizing things. If you look at page 40, you'll see on page 40, for example, just added some words because I think the last version probably wasn't as clear. Some typo type things, again, on page 63, if you look at 63, this was the provision about effectiveness. And it talked about how some of those revisions sunset in March. So we took that out and just made it clear that these rules that you'll be adopting today are effective once approved tomorrow by the full body. Other than that, that is all I have. I will ask that when we make the motion for this, that the motion include the fact that I will do an updated index to reflect the actual pages and everything. So I'll do an updated index. There's at least one typo we noticed and some formatting. So if the motion can take all of that into consideration, you'll get your full, complete document for tomorrow's meeting for approval.
Okay,
And if there are questions, I take questions.
sure. Questions to council, Commissioner Kinlock?
Motion this time.
We can have a motion, then further discussion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the proposed rules with the addition of the index as well as with any necessary corrections.
Okay, it's been moved, there's support, moved and supported. For the benefit of newer commissioners, as we talk about the rules, just to note, over the last few years, some things that were not in the rules that were added, for example, is the Pledge of Allegiance. That was not in our rules previous to about, what's been a minute now, 8 years ago. So that's just something that was added to our agenda per the Rules Committee. Another thing that was added in recent years is remarks by members. Prior to about 18 years ago, that portion wasn't on the agenda as well. So that's some of the things that we've added over the years just to make our meetings a little bit more beneficial, I think, for us as well as to the public. So if there things come, things go, we add, we subtract based on the times that we lived in, especially as we talked about with the pandemic. The last time we did this in 21, we were coming out of the pandemic. So we had the virtual meetings. So now that all of those are changed, we're back to meeting in person. We have the new voting board and the voting system. So that's new, adding that to the rules. So things change just as according to the times that we're living in. So are there any discussion for the rules that anyone would like to bring up at this time? Anyone would like to add anything? Take out anything? So Felicia and I did a wonderful job, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to thank the chair and Felicia for working through these changes and coming up with the final version. It looks great and looking forward for approval tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion at all? Okay, we do have a motion and support. And again, we'll make sure that all commissioners have this to review. And I want to make sure, I'll reiterate, please read the rules because a lot of things that you may have a question about are addressed in the rules. So make sure you understand them thoroughly. And before you come to Felicia and I with questions, a lot of the information are detailed in the rules. So hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? Okay, looks like the motion passes to approve the rules to send out to commissioners and then have on our agenda for tomorrow. Madam Clerk, next item.
Such other matters as may properly be submitted before the committee.
Are there any other matters? Next item.
Public comments.
Anyone from the public wish to be identified? You have 2 minutes. Let's take Zoom first. Anyone on Zoom for public comments? You have 2 minutes. Anyone on Zoom? No hands raised. Anyone on telephone? Any emails? No emails. Okay, next item.
Adjournment.
Support.
All right, thank you all. Meeting adjourned. Appreciate you. Easy breezy.
Yeah,
Can I
Madam
bug
Chair.
you?
Easier and breezier